computer's a relic for some of you. Many of you may have had one of these growing up, or many of you still have one of these. But if you're about my age, I'm 29, then these are the computers that you grew up with in high school or middle school. The Compaq Presario series, I'm not sure if it's still around. I don't know if they're still using the name or not, but it was used for many years, at least from the early or mid-90s during the multimedia boom till about mid-2000s, like 2005, 6, maybe even 2007. The Presario series, or the name, was always reserved for the consumer end of the computer business. We're having a gnarly thunderstorm, but anyway. And it was not to be confused with the Compaq Evo series, the ProLiant series, Desk Pro series. See, every major computer manufacturer, Compaq included, had a business and a consumer end. To try to make money in some markets where there isn't money in the other. I think most of these companies made their money primarily in the business market, but they want to keep the Compaq name out there, or the whatever name the company happens to be. But this particular model was about from 1999, possibly late 1998, and it is a 5280. I believe it is actually a Pentium 3. I'll have to verify that. But it's all there. I have the original keyboard and mouse. And I actually found this at work. It was being thrown out about, 2007. It was being thrown out, and I mothballed it. I stuffed it in a cabinet or in my office, and I forgot it was there. But that's not entirely true. Every year, I would turn it on just to make sure it still worked. But I've been kind of hanging on to it until I figured out what I was going to do with it. So let's take a look at it. It has the original CD-ROM drive and the original Zip 100 drive. It also has, still has the door. A lot of these were broken off, and it still latches. The ones that didn't break off, the latches broke and they didn't stay shut. This one does. It has a door in the front, 2 USB and 1 gamepad port, or joystick port, MIDI port, whatever you want to call it. Now the Compaq Presario wasn't a particularly terrible machine, but it had its shortcomings. The awkward case design made it impossible to perform many upgrades without completely disassembling the damn thing. They did use special power supplies. They were well known for that. They were well known for using the Compaq Bigfoot drives, which many of them were replaced throughout the machine's lifespan. This one still has its original Bigfoot installed, and it still functions, which is unusual. The power supply is mounted here. You can clearly see it is a non-standard form factor power supply. Definitely a custom job. This is one of the more advanced models. This was a higher-end machine for the discerning consumer. It does have the zip drive. It does not have a CD burner, but those were not prevalent in 1999. They were not a requirement, certainly. But it does have a few other ports in the back that you've probably never seen before. One of them is the proprietary Compaq flat panel port. I don't remember what this port was called, but I believe only Compaq used it for their displays. This one did actually have the original Compaq monitor when I found it, but the monitor was in rough shape and I ended up tossing it. It has 1 serial port, 9-pin serial, 1 parallel port, mouse, keyboard, and it does have the standard audio port, sound in, sound out, microphone, and speaker. Those are the 4 ports it has. And it has a built-in modem. It's like pretty awesome. Let's pop it open. And yes, I do have the original keyboard and mouse. Back then, Compaq was really big into having all these shortcut keys. One thing that drove me nuts about the Presario series is that they were practically filled to the gills with junk software that nobody in their right mind would ever want to buy. Most of it trial software. Compaq was one of the early companies to do such a thing. It used to be worse. I mean, like if you bought a new Packard Bell or a Gateway, you would usually get a package of discs to go with it that you could optionally install. Most of it trialware, freeware, not freeware, but trial software. Limited versions of software packages to give you the taste of what you could have if you spent the money in the full version. But these packets of discs were often miles thick. I remember when a friend of mine, around 2001, he bought himself a new Systemax PC from the Systemax was another one of the major vendors of custom-built home computers. And this thing, he had a box about this tall, filled with CDs of random software. My dinner's ready. So here we have the Compaq Presario. I have actually, I forgot I put these in here. These are Desiccant Packs. I wanted to keep it dry inside there, so I stuffed these in there. I'll throw those out. They're not really doing any good now. These have been in here for about 7 years. Before I mothballed this computer, I put those in. I cleaned it as best I could, and I ran some utilities on the drive to make sure it was clean and there was no crap on it. But I left all the software that was on it on there. This actually was used, I don't even remember what they used it for, but it still has all the stuff in it from the previous user. I should mention the last person to use this computer is now deceased. He died just recently, actually. I know who used it, but I don't remember what he used it for. This is the Quantum Bigfoot drive. This is one of the later models. This is actually, I think it's a 12 gigabyte model, which was enormous for the time period. The Quantum Bigfoot drive, it was one of those hard drives that just shouldn't have been made, in my opinion. It wasn't a particularly good drive. It was usually very slow. And it took up an entire 5 1/4 inch bay, so you couldn't really put this, well, you could put it in most computer chassis. I don't think this is a 5 1/4 inch model. I think it's actually a 3 1/2 inch that's been stuffed into this enormous case. The drive is about as thick as a 3 1/2 inch, but much larger. But you look at the distance between here and here. It's interesting. Yeah, that looks like it might be a 3 1/2. It's hard to tell. It could be a 5 1/4. Let me get a ruler. Okay, so this right here is about the size of a 5-inch hard drive platter, and it does fit in there. So, yeah, this definitely is a 5-inch disc. But what threw me was this notch that was cut into the case here. But yeah, the Bigfoot drives were slow, obnoxiously unreliable, and Compaq used them in the Presarios. That's all I know about them. I've never seen them in any other product. I believe Compaq bought them at a huge discount. I don't know. I don't know what the deal was behind that, but they were slow. So many of them were replaced with 3 1/2 inch drives, which would fit right here with an adapter kit, and because it used standard IDE connectors. But you see what I mean about making these difficult to service. To upgrade the memory, which is buried way down in there, you had to rip out the power supply. Just annoying. When I had this thing originally, I thought I had maxed out the RAM in it, but I guess I didn't. It uses, it actually uses SD RAM, PC133. And the processor, oh, there it is. The processor is under the power supply. It is a slot 1, and it is definitely, I'm going to say that's a Pentium 3. I don't know how fast it is, but I can definitely see it's a Pentium 3. And it has one 16. Wow, it has a 16-bit slot. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. And 2 PCI. Now, the way this is set up, you can use either the 16-bit or the PCI, 32-bit PCI slot. One or the other, never both, in this slot. And the modem's already ticking up. And that is the original Compaq modem. Pretty cool. It's got a cooling fan on the front. And it still has a 3.5-inch floppy drive. But that is all proprietary. You cannot replace anything in this computer with anything that was non-Compaq. Oh, here's something you don't see anymore. Let me get some light here. But if you look way in the back here, you see a SODIMM slot. Listen to that thunder. See that SODIMM slot back there? That was something that was done for a couple of years on higher-end machines to allow you to upgrade the video RAM. It would use notebook memory, if I recall, just standard SD RAM, and it was only to upgrade the video memory. So that was something that was actually quite common in the late, maybe mid to late 90s on some higher-end machines. I've seen it on Compaqs, but I've also seen it on some higher-end motherboards with integrated video. So you guys all want to see this thing in operation, and I want to do that for you. So let me eat my dinner, and then I'm going to go ahead and set this up, and you'll see it run. So production date February 26, 1999. So I wasn't too far off. Definitely a pre-Y2K computer, but oh man, Y2K. That was a joke. Everyone was in a panic. Companies like Compaq took advantage of the public by convincing them that they had to buy a new computer before the end of the year, before the end of 1999, or else all hell would break loose. Oh my god, they had these crappy movies about the disasters that would come. Oh man, what a joke. I'm glad to have lived through it. It was fun. Oh, I just noticed something. Oh, look, a pony. It looks like the motherboard can be ripped out by removing one screw. I didn't even notice this, but it's actually on a tray. So you can remove the motherboard without removing the world. Pretty cool. Well, I'm going to eat something. I'm starving, so I'll be right back. Well, that was delicious. Now let's finish this goddamn video. Okay, so here is the Compaq Presario, and we're going to hear it run. I've left the cover off so you can hear the 5.25-inch Bigfoot crank up. Bigfoot. Hey, at least they had a sense of humor. Alright. I can't get over why they would design, or why they would build a drive like this. I mean, it couldn't have been cheaper to manufacture. I think there may be 1 or 2 platters in this drive tops, maybe just one. And I really don't understand why the Bigfoot drive even existed, if other than to confuse me. Nevertheless, so we're going to press the power switch and take a look at the keyboard when I do. This is kind of strange, but only the authentic original Compaq keyboard does this. Here we go. Notice how the sleep button on the keyboard lights up. How cool is that? So here we go. Compaq. I wonder if the F10 Setup partition is still on it. I'll have to figure that out. It's an annoyingly loud drive. Now this machine, because it was used by my work, is running Windows 2000. At some point in its life, it was rebuilt. The original recovery software is long gone, but I do know it ran on Windows 98 originally. Oh, I know what this machine was used for. Oh, it's all coming back to me. This computer was used during the construction of our high school. And what it was used for was the clerk of the works. The clerk of the works was a gentleman in this case who was acting as a liaison between the school district and the building company, the company who contracted the construction of the building. That's what it was used for. And yeah, so that's what it was used for. Anyway, I have the password written down on this piece of paper. Let's see. I actually kept a record of every time I test. See, I never wanted this machine to go dead completely. I wanted it to be powered up at least once a year. So this log tells me that I powered it up on 8 of 07, 11 of 2008, 4/21 of 09, 2/10 of 2010, and 3/15 of 2012. And that was the last time it was turned on. Okay. That's right. Anyway, so we're going to log in. What was the password on this one? I don't remember. Okay. Now I know what it is. I'll put it in. I think what I'm going to do is throw a copy of Windows 2008. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to throw a copy of Windows 98 on it and try to bring it as close to factory condition as possible. But, you know, I don't think I'm going to. I won't do that. Let's just leave it the way it is. It works. It still has the Verizon Internet Service installed. What else is on here? We've got Mozilla Thunderbird, Microsoft Office, Autodesk. Oh, it has the Autodesk viewer on it, or had it on it. Nice. Outlook Express. Wow. It's got it all. Interesting. Very interesting. What was that for a system? It's a Pentium 3, that much I know. But what generation? That's not very helpful. For that, we've got 512 megs of RAM. What I want to do is go into the F10 Setup Utility, assuming it's still there. See, Compaq was notorious for putting their setup utilities on a hidden partition on the hard drive. And only the original hard drive would have it unless it was rebuilt and then the partition was reinstalled or recreated. The only way this machine would ever have the original diagnostic partition or setup utility is if that partition was recreated after it was rebuilt, or when they rebuilt it they did not delete the partition. But it looks like it's all here. So what will this tell me? We know what it has for a hard drive, we just don't know what the we don't know what it has for a processor. And it doesn't look like this is going to tell me. I'll have to look it up. Or I could do, and oh, you know, there's one other way to do it. DX Diag. So we will have to do that. So let's run DX, boot it back up again. And we'll run DX Diagnostic. This would make a really cool old game system. You know, all those old games, like the earlier versions of Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Audio, I like that. They stole my sound. No, give it back. No, all those old Windows 98 era games that I have would run really well on this machine. Wouldn't put it on the network or anything, but I mean, I could. We have the ability to do that, you know. But it could be a fun little toy. I'll put Windows 98 back on it. I'll put all my old games on it. But it actually has some historical value. It still contains all the construction photos of a brand new high school complex. So it has the construction photos. It has the correspondence between the clerk of the works, you know, and everybody else involved in the construction process. I'd like to archive some of that stuff and get it off the machine before I do anything permanent to it. I think it runs really well. Surprisingly well. And it even has this light up moon key. That's the sleep-wake switch, or button. I want to see if that even works. I don't think it will. Because I think it was proprietary to Compaq, and only the Compaq enablers would allow that to work. So, we should see if that does anything. But before we do that, I'm going to run DX and Diag. Let's see what we have for a processor. This should tell me. Looks like we are running an Intel Celeron processor. Really? Somehow I don't believe that, but it reports it as an Intel Celeron at 430 megahertz. Okay. I thought this was a much higher end machine than that. That's complete bull. I'm going to look up the specs on the 5280. Maybe that'll dispute what I'm seeing there. I'm going to put it to sleep first. Really? Alright, let's see if we can't fix that. Power options. Advanced. No, Really? So I can't enable that. SOB. Now that'll take adding the enabler to do it, or the little applet that Compaq has. Here are the complete system specs as HP or Compaq sees them. It's a Celeron 433, making it the nicest Celeron PC I've ever seen. 66 megahertz bus, so it uses PC 66 RAM. Well, actually, it uses PC 100. My bad. Upgradable 384 megabytes. Now I've got 512 in there now, so 12 gigabyte hard drive with performance accelerator software, 40x max CD-ROM drive, and easy access internet keyboard, which we still have there. We have the, let's see, I want to see where it says. It has a digital flat panel port. There it is, zip drive. It shows it. Okay, good. Neat. Windows 98. It came with Quicken Basic 99, Works 4.5, Word 97. So all the basic stuff there. Not too crazy. I did download all of the original soft packs just in case I can never get them again. so we'll be able to bring it back to factory. But what I want to do before I do any of that is try to archive all the email that's on it. Emails, anything that's on the machine I want to try to save. So that could be a lot of fun. Okay, so I have this package of Zip 100s. It sounds like a cigarette or something. Hey, Johnny, you want to do Zip 100s? Anyway, that was dumb. But I got these for 99 cents, brand new, at Sabres. And I don't believe that the Zip software was ever installed on this machine. Oh, it looks like it might be. So we're going to put in one of these nice little Zip 100 discs. If I don't have the software on the machine, I've got it on this CD. I just downloaded it. Look at that. Pre-formatted for Mac. Let's see if this old zip drive still works. I don't think it's ever been used. Oh, it wants me to format it. Yes, I would love to format it. Thank you. A quick format if I can. Format complete. Well, what do you know? So there it is. So what I'm going to now do is try to recover or copy all the software that's on here onto the zip disk. I do have a 250 megabyte zip, or I could just call it a zip 250 USB that I can use on another machine to recover the drive data. Here. Okay, there's about 26 megabytes of documents we're now going to recover. Look at that. It's so easy. Alright, we're done. So now what I need to do is, I'm going to just put this away for now, and when we return, or next time you see this machine, we'll be putting Windows 98 on it. And I'm looking forward to that. Just need to find a place to put the machine once I do it. But first, I want to make sure this optical drive still functions. Check this out. This actually has a vertical switch on it. Some of these drives could be operated vertically in some of the older PC cases, and all you had to do was flick a switch. Well, easier said than done. Use a ballpoint pen, and that allows the disk to stay in its place. Just want to put that in there so I don't lose it, and make sure it reads it. Oh, that sounds unhealthy. May have to re-record that at a lower speed. Damn. That sounds sickly. Actually, I think it loaded. Yeah, there it is. Okay, scared me for a minute, but it worked. Alright, let's shut this sucker down. Put the cover back on, and I stuff it in the closet. Sound good? I've got to have the only frog in the world that likes tummy rubs. Watch this. There she is. I'm rubbing her tummy with my fingers. It just sits there. So cool. Say hi to the camera. Now you're mad. Alright, leave you alone.